Hello viewers. Today I have here a Lakewood disaster. This Lakewood fan, I will give you a backstory for, looks beat up. That's because it is. I acquired this, I think for $5 in 2008, maybe 2009. In fact, I remember it was, someone left it on their porch for me. They were not home. All I had was a $10 bill. So I think I left them the 10. So I paid 10. Or you could say I tipped them $5. This thing was in primo condition at the time I acquired it. And it kind of sat in my collection. And, you know, this is what I always find fascinating about this model Lakewood is it's kind of like the evolution of Lakewood. You know, you get to you have the 70s with the metal blades, and then you move into the 80s and they're plastic blades, and then you have the one from like the late 80s that just starts to get smaller or thinner, and then you arrive here after this is when they really started kind of falling apart as junk. But what I really liked, despite them shrinking these a little bit, they kept the look and the feel very similar with the handle, the cabinet, the knob, the label. Very solid. Yeah, this grill is a disaster. Very, very solid. And so for a number of years, I would say since summer 2017 up until I think through 2022, this was the fan I used in my window in my personal bedroom. And really that's probably the fan that gets the most use in the home. You get some others spread out, but like at night, and I'm not a use a fan year round type of guy, because I think fans are finite, meaning like as much as you service them, I still feel like they kind of have a life to them at some point before you have to totally like rip them apart and rebuild them. So in the wintertime, I tend to use a sound machine to sleep, although nothing replaces having one of these in the window in the summertime at all. So I used this because it was kind of like, even though I should have really just added it to my little collection or my museum, because it really kind of completed my Lakewood kind of the generation of them looking like this and older. I don't have any of the last remaining Lakewood box fans before Lakewood went out of business, but because I quite frankly think they're junk. But at this point, because Lakewood's out of business, it may be cool to have it, you know. So what has happened to this fan? A couple of things have had to happen to this fan. Before I put this in my window in 2017, because prior to that, I had a 90s Lasco in my window, which like froze up and I had to rebuild that. And that's another video. This fan was, we would use it in the laundry area in the basement, which I just did a video recently on an Eastern electric fan from the early 90s. That's now the laundry fan. So this one got promoted to the bedroom window after my Lasco kind of needed to be rebuilt. And I just used it, I oiled it, I used it, I oiled it, I used it, I oiled it. But prior to that, I want to give a shout out. These blades are not original with this fan. Before it had duty in my window, and it was in the laundry area, someone inadvertently knocked it over in a basement's concrete floor, right? And it just landed just right, and it cracked the blades. It snapped at one of the blades. So I think I did a shout out in one of the Facebook fan groups. You guys are the best. And Tori, the fan man, everybody knows Tori. He probably doesn't even remember doing this because this was before 2017. So it was a while ago. He sent me the blades that are on this fan today. So thank you, Tori. And The grill is original. The grill is completely disintegrating because of the sun. sun sets on the side of the house that this was in the window in, and you can see this just, I mean, I touched it and pieces fall off of it. I can't even clean the grill anymore. That was my struggle every year when I would service the fan, is I got to a point where I was afraid to clean it, and then I got to a point afraid to take the grill off. So that was a problem. This grill, this side actually was on the rear of the fan. The grill that's back there is a complete hack, because that grill just completely crumpled and disintegrated. And I can't seem to find replacement grills for this fan. I have replacement grills for other Lakewoods, but it's just nothing fits. So I did the unthinkable. I did the unspeakable. I made a, we'll turn around and take a look. I made a Lasco grill work, and it doesn't quite work. There's gaps, but I thought, I put the badge on this side because what was happening with the badge, this grill on the other side, is it was rubbing the hub of the blade. No matter how I try, and I don't know if this grill is warped or it came from a trashed Lasco fan. I had to clip these to get the power cord in. So it is totally wrong. I know. If anyone wants to hook me up with a grill, I'll gladly pay for it. Be happy to put it back to how it was. That would be great. The one other thing I love about this fan is, yeah, again, it was shrinking from the Lakewood glory days of the 80s and the 70s. But this thing still has oil ports on both sides. Super duper cool. And that's why I thought I would use this in my window and run it like crazy, because it's so easy to oil. And what was pretty neat is when I would turn this thing off, the spin down seemed like it would just never, it would never stop. It just kept going. Obviously I'm exaggerating. So this thing worked and ran really, really well. But more recently, I've been having an issue with it, and I haven't actually run this in a while. So I don't know if my issue's gone away. I thought my issue, again, was the blade set on this, because when I think I made the mistake of over oiling this, because I would oil it typically what I do is when I'm done for the season with the fans, I service them, then put them away. I used to put them away, then service them in the spring, but it was always like, you get that hot day that comes sooner than you planned on, and then your fan's not serviced. Yes, it's a fan thing. So I think what has occurred here is, because essentially I would oil it every year just to drop a zoom spout, but I think that's too much, what I learned, because what had happened is it got to the point where I could just easily slide these blades on and off really easy. They stay on and they stay flush, but when I want to pull them off, they come off really easily. And typically my experience has been Lakewood fans are brutal to get the blades off. This sucker comes right off. Just tell me the plastic could be worn a little. Also, I think a few years ago, when it was still in service and I went to go service it, there was, I don't want to say sludge, but there was definitely an oil buildup. So I cleaned it out and just kind of left it as it, there was enough oil, even after I cleaned it out, to not add any more oil. So I don't know if that's part of the problem. Like I said, I've screwed around with the grills on this. If I get it back to 100%, if I can replace the grills and get it running correctly again, I probably will retire it to my museum, because it's earned its keep for sure. But if I kind of keep it as a ragtag fan here and it's running and sounding fine, I'll probably just continue to use it as is. Although I don't want these blades to yellow out on me if they're in the window. So we'll see. But what sparked me to do this video is, again, shout out to Tori. I noticed on his channel, he had this exact same fan and he's talking about servicing it. So it made me think, oh yeah, he sent me a set of blades at one point in time. I have the same exact fan. So why not talk about this one again? So I'm going to turn it on. I am leaving it on exhaust for us, because I have found that we're blowing air into the camera. I'll turn it around at some point, but just while we're talking here, we'll turn it on. So I'll start with low. So this is the first time I've turned it on in over a year. What I've dug about this fan, as you know, typical Lakewoods, you put them on low and those blades move so slow, so quiet. You either really love it or you find it's too slow, right? This Lakewood, or this model, I always found this sucker wants to go. Like this sucker, it wants to go. And I don't know what the difference between this motor is and previous generation motors, but this thing wants to crank. So that's low. There's medium. I mean, medium could pass for high on other fans, especially modern fans. Let's get some high. That's where the noise comes in. If anyone can tell me what that is, I would love to know. I'm going to turn it off before I blow it up. I don't know. Would love to know what that noise is, and that is why this thing is out of service. I don't know. I should maybe try it again with the grills off to see if that noise is coming from the grills, but I think it's coming from the motor. Turn it around. You guys can take a look there. I'll leave it on low. I'm not going to put it on that high speed again. But I think this is one of the better fans that were made towards the end of Lakewood's run. And even if the fans were just made like this today, even. You know, if they want to be smaller, I get all that, and skinnier and whatever, not large fans like they used to be. This is still a smaller fan, but it's powerful and it's sturdy. It's not that like metal that you push on and you feel it bend. This doesn't do that. So we'll take a look at the spin down. The spin down on this thing has always been just incredible. But I would like to figure out what that rattle is. Is that a motor problem? Is that a balance problem? What is it? So thanks for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe. Would really appreciate any comments or any guidance on this one. Would like to bring it back to life. It's, I think, too good of a fan not to give it some life. See you on the next one.